We're hanging out here with Alison Alvarez from Blastpoint today on our 50 Summer Stories of Pittsburgh Tech, brought to you, of course, by my partners, my friends over at Comcast. I couldn't tell all these awesome stories without their support. Today's story is going to be so amazing because the work that Alison and her team is doing at Blastpoint, as she just described it to me, it's like using AI to not make your life miserable. You know, that's what it comes up. Let's use some technology to improve our lives. And you are doing that day in and day out. So good to see you again, Alison. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me today.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh, it's crazy because I'm having a good time now. Like all during the day, I'm always kind of like, and then I turn my record button on and I get this super shot of energy because I get the honor of talking to the coolest people in Pittsburgh's tech sector. And you for sure are one of those people, man. You are making Pittsburgh tick. That's for sure. So first off, just tell us about yourself real fast. You got a really cool background and give us a little overview of Blastpoint. And then I want to jump right into what's going on with what you're doing with People's Gas. Because when I saw this news release, I was like, I have to talk to Alison. You were on my list to begin with. I had my list of folks I was picking out, like, who are the people that I want to talk to? And then I got this news release. I'm like, I got to get her up there now. So it's all here.
My name's Alison Alvarez. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Blastpoint. I'm one of the resident nerds here in Pittsburgh. And I work with my team and we build systems that help big companies create lifelong relationships with their customers through understanding who they are by the power of AI-driven personas. So understanding not only what potential behavior people have now, how it's going to be in the future, and also understanding the why people are doing the things they're doing, because it's really critical for addressing it. Because if you don't know people, you can't address what their needs are.
You work with companies across all kinds of industries. Give us like a little taste of some of the cool types of industries you work in, or if you can mention any other customer names, just because I think it's always cool if you're able to mention a few here and there.
Yeah, so we work with both People's Gas and Duquesne Light, and some of the largest utilities in both the US and Canada. We work with one of the largest car brands in the world, and also lots of emerging brands. So Chula here in town is also one of our customers.
Oh, Chula, now that's tasty. Yeah. I hope they're paying you in their tasty food as well as cold hard cash.
Luckily, money can buy food.
That is true. That is true. So let's talk about People's Natural Gas. This project that I was alerted to, I think it's just amazing because your technology is helping them find customers who could potentially default on the utility bills, and allows them to kind of, send them materials to show them that there are resources out there to help them keep their gas bill current, because it's so important, because we know everyone's really stretching it this day and age, and it's going to become winter again very soon.
Yeah, so this is actually a really important time of year because at the end of August, there is a federal program called LIHEAP that helps provide supplementary dollars for people who are struggling to pay their bills. And if we're talking about Pittsburgh here, most every utility in town has, what's known as a rate case, and it means they've talked to the utility, the PUC, so they're the ones who help set utility rates. And as part of those utility rates, there is capacity built in to help people in need. So we have a federal program, we've got our local program through our utilities, and we've also got a program called Dollar Energy. And all three of them are around to help people pay their bills this time of year, honestly, any time of the year. And they're also really critical for helping people stay on track with their bills and stay engaged with the utilities. I think when people get their utilities shut off, everybody kind of loses. It's the homeowner loses, their neighbors lose because you have somebody distressed in your neighborhood, and the utilities themselves are essentially like cutting off their own customers. And so, really, especially in times like these when we're seeing lots and lots of households who have never paid late, they're suddenly paying late. We know that it means that people are in economic distress, and there are actually lots of levers you can pull to help keep people back on track that is not cutting them off from their utilities.
Exactly. It's just so important. That's why I think this is so cool. Can you maybe give us like a high level view as to how this works? Like what kind of data are you analyzing and crunching to then alert them that you got this group of folks here that might be in danger of not being able to pay their bill?
Yeah, so we're trying to understand what's going on at the household level. So I don't want to know what anybody ate for breakfast because like that's not the personal level we're looking at.
Right.
But we want to look at sort of the neighborhood and understand like, okay, are there people who are hourly workers? And if we're thinking about the current downturn, who's the most affected? It's people who have really highly variable schedules or people who have lost their jobs. And there are
Right.
certain sectors where people have lost their jobs. So if we can trace that to individual households, we have a better idea of what's going on. And if someone's unemployed, being like, give me money is not like the most effective way of working with somebody. And in fact, it's a great way to get somebody to wait until the last minute and potentially get themselves cut off. So what you want to do is create an open, positive line of communication. You want to be able to lend a helping hand, which is something that our utilities can do. And you also want to give people options. A lot of people have really big feelings about taking assistance. I'm just thinking about my own family and some of the struggles. I know I have myself paying bills and also my family members. And, you know, part of it is just like, I don't want to accept help from anybody. And so I might be reluctant to actually research these programs and make sure that I sign up. But if somebody comes and finds me, not only like does that, but talks to me in a way where I'm ready to listen,
Yep.
it's
Absolutely.
much more likely that this will be successful. So if you reach out to somebody who may not even know that these programs exist, you're more likely to be successful than if you just never speak to them and you're just like, figure it out. And if you think about people who are dealing with like lower salaries, they're dealing with unemployment, they don't have a lot of bandwidth to think about everything. And they're thinking about housing, they're thinking about food, they're thinking about so many different things. So being able to get on their radar is really critical, and it involves being proactive. You can't wait for them to do it.
Exactly right. And that's why I just think this solution is so cool, because it is using the most advanced technology to seek these things out and get people the help that they need in such a cool way like that. So this is actually up and running now. Is it deployed and doing its thing?
Yeah, so we've had really good results. I think we've managed to find people who are definitely struggling. And again, I don't know anybody's business, but I just want to find people who are good candidates and help them.
Cool.
Even if they're not signing up for assistance programs, help them sign up for payment plans, help them, figure out how to qualify for federal dollars for weatherproofing. So you can do that strategically if you're a
Oh,
home.
interesting. Yeah, so you even go into that level where you can plan the ways to
Exactly.
start saving money in the future and everything like that too.
Yes, and it's August right now, so it's hot.
Yeah.
We're maybe we have our ACs on, but I think a lot of us like. I know myself, my money goes to like that heating bill. And so the thing
Exactly.
that we're looking at ahead to is like the darkest February is to have everybody prepared for that. So, we've got about 6 months of runway. What can we do to help people keep their bills as low as possible so that they're more likely to afford them later on, even if they have a disruption in their household income?
Very cool stuff. Now, I'm assuming this is something that you can obviously scale to other utility providers and so forth. There are other folks interested in deploying this technology. It seems like a no-brainer. Why would you not use this?
Yeah, actually, we have customers in 8 states that are using this. We even have an entire province in Canada that's using our system,
An
although they're
entire
not like,
province. Wow.
yeah, we have we have Alberta,
That's some territory right there.
Alberta, which is one of the good provinces. But what they're doing in Alberta is they're not using us for bill payment. They're looking ahead to the future for electrical vehicles. So they're trying to plan their infrastructure for the next 20 years, understanding where that capacity is going to be going.
Right.
So we have this big shift from the oil and gas sector that's moving into the utility sector. And that's going to require infrastructure. And if utilities, they got to like think in terms of decades, not years.
Exactly. Right,
And
right,
so
right.
being able to plan for that is really helpful, but also knowing the use cases and understanding who's going to have the specific reasons to change are also really important. And we do this at a commercial level, but also at a residential level.
Fantastic stuff. So what else is going on with Blastpoint these days? I mean, obviously, you guys are you're selling stuff to the utilities. Like, what other projects are you working on? Anything kind of cool you can kind of allude to? Because I know you're always working on something fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Um, like we're hiring a lot. Like I think that's our big
Whoa,
thing.
let's talk about that. I think that's amazing. You're like, yeah, I'm hiring a lot. Well, let's good.
I'm like,
What's up?
I don't want to give away anything that like, because I can talk about this stuff with like permission of our customers. And like, I don't want to reveal anything before I can, but I definitely can talk about hiring. So we're bringing in new employees. We're hiring new developers. This is not my favorite period of U.S. history. I'll say
Not?
that.
Oh, come on. This has been great, right?
But the silver lining is that we've really crossed paths with some really amazing people and managed to convince them to come on board. And that's, if you've ever hired for a tech in the city, it's always a challenge. And like, we've got a lot of the big guys in the city, and I'm always fighting them.
Yes.
But we've managed to find some people who are really interested in not only working with really cool AI technology, we do some really cutting edge stuff, but also looking at how to make a difference and how to work for a company where, we say no to things that we think don't make sense for us or honestly our region long term. So we were able to have a lot of control over what we build or don't build. And we work with a lot of developers to who this really means something.
Absolutely. It's so cool. So you're in hiring mode, which is just absolutely fantastic. And so at the end of the day, I know last time I talked to you, you're all about the flexibility of the workplace. So this working remote stuff is not that big of a deal to you guys. Like, you know how to navigate this without a problem. So bringing new people on, despite not having an actual office to really get to on a regular basis, is probably not a stumbling block for you, huh?
Yeah, we haven't been in the same room since I think March 14th.
Yep.
It's been a while. Some of us have met up, in safe ways so that we can exchange information or like work together, like for pair programming. But generally, we let our employees set their level of safety and adhere to that as much as possible. One of my employees potty trained her child during the last few months during this whole thing. She was able to do that while working full time and taking care of her kid. I have a 9-year-old who's downstairs doing her schoolwork right now.
Okay.
So I think we're all juggling quite a bit, but I think being a software company, we're on easy mode compared to pretty much any other kind of business. So it's been really easy for us to kind of separate into our own places. I miss whiteboarding with everybody.
Yeah, that's our thing at the council. We want a giant virtual whiteboard that we can all kind of be marking up at the same time.
And I miss lunches. We've been having like virtual happy hours where we'll all talk to each other. And that's been like a nice little substitute. But I miss everybody, but we've still managed to sort of keep it together. And I think by being flexible with schedules, because half of us have kids, we've managed to keep it together. I think we all have varying levels of stress, but I think we're all keeping it together.
That's
so
great.
that's the really important thing. The school year is coming up, and we know that a lot of people are going to be helping their kids with virtual learning. And, that's going to involve taking time out from the workday. So we've been shifting our schedules so that we still have company meetings and still let people do what they've got to do for their kids.
Potty training, whatever it is, you can let them do
Yep.
it. That's so cool. Awesome. Alison Alvarez from Blastpoint. You are truly making Pittsburgh proud. Your company is amazing. You're doing great work. Your team's doing awesome work. That's what's setting us apart. Simple as that. Can't thank you enough for hanging out with me and Comcast to tell us a little bit of your story and how you're helping people make sure they can get the utility bills paid. Stuff you just don't think about, but there's a technology solution for it, and you have it, man. Awesome.
LIHEAP at the end of August, everybody. So if you need it, you should sign up for it.
Very cool. Great stuff, Alison. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye-bye.